Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? You're fine. That's good. I welcome you in my class. That is English for Grade 1. We are learning Unit 5. Its title is Apple Pie. My dear fellow teachers, this lesson plan, PowerPoint presentation and worksheet links are given. You may click it, download it, follow it as it is or modify it for your convenience. I'm going to deliver my lecture according to this lesson plan. Yes, my dear students, today under the title of grammar, we are going to learn about punctuation. Before this, in your English primer, you have learned about capital letters. So whenever we write a sentence, we use first letter capital. I hope you remember the concept. If not, you may watch this video lecture again. And we are going to learn further to apply capitalization to the initial letter of the first word of a sentence. What does it mean? Whenever you are going to write a sentence, the first letter of the first word should always be capital. This is our today's SLO. Let's start with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah mentions in Quran, Surah An-Nisa, verse 86. And when you are greeted with a salutation, greet with one better than it or return the same. Yes, my dear children, what this beautiful verse is telling us. Beta, when someone says Assalamu alaikum to us, what should we say? We should say Wa alaikum assalam. And you can return one which is better than this. You can say Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Right? So, beta, our Quran teaches us everything. This is our everyday manner. Okay, so whatever we do, we should do it in the best manner, right? So when we write, we should write it correctly. How do we do it? We are going to learn it. So do you remember we have learned alphabets, English alphabets? There is one form which is known as capital letters and there is another which is known as small letters. Okay, so where we must use capital letters, this is what we are going to learn. There are rules, but it's not like that. Wherever you want to write, you can write in capital or small letters. So there are a few rules. Let's learn it. The first one is the initial letter of the first word of a sentence must always be written in the capital form. Means you are going to write a sentence, the first letter you will always write capital letter, okay? For example, this is a book. So this is the first word of this sentence. So its first letter, this T, should always be capital. If you write it in small letter, it's a mistake. We should not write the first letter small. It should always be capital letter because this is the first letter of the first word of the sentence. This is a book, right? The other example is, I live in Lahore. So this I is capital, it's the first letter of this sentence, and this L is also capital. Why? There is another rule. Let's learn about it. The particular naming words are also written in capital form. Remember the particular naming words? Name of a person or place or pet. The specific name. What is particular name mean? The specific name of a person or a place is particular. So when you are writing it, you will start it with capital letter, right? The first letter of a particular naming word is also capitalized. For example, if you are going to write, I live in Islamabad. So this I, because Islamabad is a particular name of a city, that's why it will always be written with capital I, right? No matter wherever it's appearing, it's in the sentence. It is not the first word of the sentence. Still, we will write it with capital. So what two rules we have learned so far? The first letter of the sentence the first letter of the first word of the sentence, and particular names will be written with capital letter, right? The other example is Qaid-e-Azam is our national hero. You see, this Qaid-e-Azam, this letter we will always write with capital Q because it's a particular naming word. Roses are red. Now this R, because this is the first letter of the first word of the sentence, it's written with capital R, right? Are you clear? Okay. So let's practice this concept through an activity. What the activity is, capitalize these sentences. Your teacher will write few sentences on board. For example, I brought few examples. So you have to find out which word we need to write in capital letter, and you should also know the reason. Okay, so pause the video, complete this activity, and then come back. Yes, my dear children, all of you, you have written these sentences, so check your work. Have you written it correctly? She has a mango. So this she, because this is the first letter of the first word of the sentence, that's why it should be capital. He goes to Karachi in summer. So he is capital because this is the first letter of this sentence, and Karachi is a particular name of a city. That's why it should be capital, right? The cat is happy. So this T is capital because this is the first letter of the first word of sentence. So all of you have written correctly. Good job. Now let's practice this concept from your book. All of you look at this. Rewrite the following sentences using capital letters and full stop. Now we know the first letter of the first word of the sentence should be capital. The first letter of a particular name should be capital. And at the end of a sentence, what do we put? We place a full stop. So keeping all these things in your mind, you have to complete this task in your book. Pause the video, complete the task, and come back. Yes, my dear children, are you done with it? Good job, smart. It's time for your homework. You will write any 5 sentences in your notebooks with proper capitalization and full stop. And here is a worksheet, my dear fellow teachers. This worksheet, lesson plan, PowerPoint presentation, links are given. You may click it, download it, and kindly provide a printed worksheet to students for practice. And my dear children, once again, you have to rewrite these sentences by applying capitalization and full stops. So what we have learned today, we learned that particular naming words are always capitalized, and the initial letter of the first word of a sentence is always written in capital letters. So we achieved our SLO to apply capitalization to the initial letter of the first word of a sentence. Are we done with it? Yes. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll come again with a very interesting lesson. Till the time, keep learning and take very good care of yourself. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.